How are you feeling? You got John Riggs here today as Lester from Grand Theft Auto, apparently. I gotta let you know, I love Sony and I love the PlayStation and always have. Let me give you a quick timeline to get to why we are today and why my headline is what it is today. I picked up my PlayStation 1 the day after it was released. Our local, I think it was Software Etc. at the time, turned into GameStop. They were running a promotion like, hey, here's the new Sony PlayStation, and if you trade in your old Super Nintendo and literally any 3 games, you'll get $100 off. I had a Super Nintendo that at the time I didn't really use much. I had 3 games. I forgot which games they were. One of them was Star Fox though, but then there was like another sports game and then something else. When I learned about that day 1, then day 2, I came back, traded in all my stuff, got my PlayStation, loved it. Absolutely loved it. Everything about it. I mean, games like Ridge Racer, Tekken, Battle Arena Toshinden even, games like Twisted Metal when it finally came out. Oh my god, I was hooked on the PlayStation, and that was it for me, man. That was it. That was the future for me. I married into my PlayStation 2, believe it or not. Now, when the PlayStation 2 first came out, I was like, looks cool, but there's nothing in it for me just yet. You know, like the games that I launched with and everything, I was like, I'll wait a little while. Well, as it turns out, my girlfriend had a PlayStation 2, and we ended up getting married, so then it became our PlayStation 2. Well, no, we're married, so it's ours, right? That's how it works, right? Anyway, we still have it. Fast forward to the PlayStation 3, and this was the big hype, the big release, along with the Wii, the PlayStation 3. People were going nuts for this thing. I got one as well. I had to wait a week. I couldn't get one day 1 because it was reserved, but my local Game Crazy at the time, I can talk about Game Crazy because they closed down already, the manager at the store that was working there in the town I lived in said, I cannot reserve one day 1. But I'll give you a call when the second batch comes in. Sure enough, a week later, he calls me up, says, we got a couple of them. You got to get down here right now. Perfect. Got it taken care of. I was actually able to get my PlayStation 3 and my Wii on the same day because they both came in at the same time, and I was like, I am on my way. PlayStation 4, that's when it started getting to a point where I couldn't just walk in and buy one anymore. I couldn't do it with the PlayStation 3 and Xbox because they're really hyped up for the holiday season. So for PlayStation 4, I planned ahead a little bit. My local Walmart had a buy it in advance thing. So every time I was at Walmart, I'd put down, $50, $100, $25, whatever it was. And then by the time it came out, it was already paid off. So yes, there was a midnight launch party and people were waiting in line, and they looked at me and said, oh, sorry, we only have so many systems. And I was like, mine's already paid for. And they're like, oh, no problem at all. This one's for you, kind of thing. So perfect, great. And I played each of those systems more than anything else. I played my PlayStation 1 more than my other stuff at the time. I played my PlayStation 2, or our PlayStation 2, when we married into it. And then by that time, there's already some great games available, like the new wrestling game just came out, Tony Hawk and stuff like that. So good to go there. PlayStation 3, I played a ton after I was out of the honeymoon stage of my Wii. I loved the Wii and still do, but that was like the new gimmicky system. I couldn't wait to play it, so my PlayStation 3 actually sat in a box for about a week until I hooked it up, and I was like, oh my god, this is amazing. Elder Scrolls Oblivion, I just couldn't get over how awesome that game was. And Call of Duty 3, which was the first game I played online and realized how much of a gamer I'm not compared to these people who play games way more than I ever could. I thought I was good until I played Call of Duty 3 online, and I was like, okay, I'll be the medic and I'll be in the background and I will heal you back to health. you do all the heavy lifting. And then PlayStation 4, of course, couldn't get enough of it, absolutely loved it. So PlayStation 5, the next thing, right? This is the next big thing, it's big, but it's like the next thing to do. Man, I couldn't wait for that PlayStation 5 experience, and I got it, and I hooked it up, and it was a lot quicker for me to hook up than it was like the Xbox Series S. Just typed in a couple of things, everything just kind of changed over, and I was in, and I was good. And it was confusing for me, like the layout, the operating system. Now, I loved the cross operating system of the PlayStation 3. I thought that was pretty streamlined. I liked how that was. It was just like, here's all the things, and then up and down has, the different categories or whatever. And PlayStation 4, I got used to really quickly. PlayStation 4 I got used to just because I was like, here are the games that you played recently, and then at the end you have your library of everything. And easy to quit a game, you got your PlayStation button right in the middle, push it, for whatever, hold it down, you can exit, quit, go on to something else, great. PlayStation 5, I'm still confused on how to shut games down altogether. Like I want to quit out of a game, and it's not letting me quit out of a game. So I gotta hit the button, then hit it again, or trying to power it off, I gotta like hold the button down and hit it again, and then other things pop up and down, and that's like I have to find with the thing. it could have been a lot better. And maybe in the future, maybe it will be. I mean, maybe there'll be another update that says, hey, we're actually going to update the OS. I hope they do. Maybe other people like it, but man, it is, for me, hard to figure out just how to close a game. On top of that, hard to figure out how to do the party chat thing. Because on PlayStation 4, super simple, super streamlined. There's a party chat like button, right? It's like a big old icon. And you can add people, you can leave the chat if you want, stuff like that. But when we're playing like things like Dead by Daylight online, you have to do an invite, but then you have to go somewhere else and then do so. It's like, dude, why would you remove how easy it was for PlayStation 4? Going on to a PlayStation 5, you'd think it would be easier or more streamlined or something, but it's not. One thing I will give PlayStation 5 is if you stream directly from the system, which is how I used Twitch and YouTube to an extent for a lot of years, for streaming anyway, the streaming setup is a lot more streamlined on the PlayStation 5 than the PlayStation 4. It actually lets you can actually move the camera around a little bit, you can have the chat there or not. It looks a lot better than the very clunky PlayStation 4 setup. It works, it's just, it looks better on PlayStation 5. You still don't get like alerts and stuff like that, but you know, whatever. We gotta talk about the PlayStation VR, as big of a PlayStation VR gamer as I am. To play the PlayStation VR, PSVR, on your PlayStation 5, you need a special cable because you have to use your PlayStation 4 camera, as that's what works with the PlayStation VR. The PlayStation 5 camera won't work. On top of that, I have a PlayStation 5 camera and the PlayStation 4 camera. If you pop in your PlayStation 4 camera, it overrides the PlayStation 5 camera. If I'm streaming something like on Twitch, for instance, and I have my face in the screenshot, even though I have both of them plugged in, it only reads the PlayStation 4 camera, not the high quality special fancy edition PlayStation 5 camera. It just shuts it out completely. That's dumb. And then it only makes sense you have to use a PlayStation 4 controller where the sensor bar is if you're playing a game that the PlayStation VR needs to read that sensor bar, like a gun game, for instance. Unless you're using the aim controller. Oh, unless you're using the aim controller right there. If you're just using like the PlayStation 4 controller, which I still do a lot, you need to have your PlayStation 4 controller also attached to the PlayStation 5, which is fine, but it's still could have been better. Thank you for having it backwards compatible, but man, it's like, you know, we did this for you, here you go. You're better off just keeping your PlayStation 4 as your PlayStation VR system, you know. The list of PlayStation 5 exclusives at this point is still super slim. The idea that PlayStation 4 games still work is great, but I think that also limits the ability of them making PlayStation 5 games. It's like, oh, this will work on both systems. I was like, well, then why do I have a new system? You know, I just played on the old one. And the old one still works great. The old one still looks great too, for me. Yes, a lot of games have a PlayStation 5 patch. Games like No Man's Sky, Dead by Daylight, and so much more. That's cool too, but again, it's almost just like a thanks. It's the same game though. I mean, I already played it when it first came out. I mean, outside of like No Man's Sky or Dead by Daylight, which you can keep playing and keep playing, games like Maneater, which are super cool, it's like I already played that game. Thanks for the patch, but I already beat it. I don't know if I go back to it again later, maybe, I don't know. Chances are probably not so much, but I mean, it was a fun game when I played it. Loved it. Don't need to play it again. The PlayStation 5 has a lot going on for itself. I don't think it's found its full potential yet. And not only that, but people still can't get one, so there's that. I don't mind the fact that I have one, but all the things I use it for are all the things I use my PlayStation 4 for. So I didn't even really need one just yet. But I was happy to get one because I was so excited with my history of PlayStation and all the way from the first one, second one, all the way through the fourth one. Loved them all, and I played those exclusively more than anything else. I played my PlayStation 4 more than my Xbox One. I played my PlayStation 4 more than my Switch. I played my PlayStation 3. After I lost the honeymoon period, I played my PlayStation 3 more than my Wii, which still sounds silly. PlayStation 2, I mean, I played a lot of my GameCube, I played a lot of my Dreamcast, but I did play my PlayStation 2 quite a bit. Hour for hour, I probably did play my PlayStation 2, at least more than my GameCube. And then PlayStation 1, I for sure played more than like Nintendo 64 or anything else. And as it is right now, my PlayStation 5 is turned on every day because I use my PlayStation 5 for Netflix, for YouTube, and stuff like that. But I don't play it for games as much. My Switch gets more gameplay. My Xbox Series S gets more gameplay. My PlayStation 5 is there and ready for when something cool comes out. And when something cool does come out, it may just be first day on Game Pass on the Xbox Series S, so I'll just play it on that. Waiting for those PlayStation exclusives. Can we get a 100-player Battle Royale style Twisted Metal game? I'd be down for that. Can we bring Warhawk back? I understand we have Elder Scrolls Online, but now that that's all Bethesda and going to the Xbox, could we get Kingsfield back in some kind of same capacity? Loved Kingsfield. And of course, when the PlayStation VR 2 comes out, whatever it's going to be called, PlayStation VR Pro, PlayStation VR 2.0, whatever it's going to be called, then yes, I'll be all about that, and that will probably become my new system I play more than anything else, because I love my VR gaming. In fact, my Oculus Quest 2 gets more gameplay than a lot of things right now, especially the PlayStation 5, just because I'm a huge VR gamer. The PlayStation 5 is good, it's just not great. And I'm waiting for it to be great. It will be great. It will be. It's just too soon. I think they probably should have, maybe could have waited another year to build up some new releases, some new games or something like that. Didn't need to come out just yet. It didn't need to, because all the games are available on it now. And the haptic triggers, I could do without them. I know I'm probably the minority on this one, and trust me, I still love Sony. I still love PlayStation. I wear the hat. Where's my hat? Here's the hat. I still wear my hat with pride. There we go. There we go. There we go. Look at that. Look at that nonsense. That hat and these glasses, man, I don't know. Just wait until the PlayStation VR 2 comes out. I'll probably do a 180 on this video and be like, oh my god, it's the best thing ever. In the meantime, I'm just waiting it out. And I got plenty of stuff to play until then. And a lot of great indie titles and stuff on the PlayStation, but it's all on PlayStation 4, which happens to play PlayStation 5. So, I'll be good for those games, for sure. In the meantime, we'll see what happens next. Am I the minority on this one? Probably, but you can always leave your comments below, and I thank you for watching, and we'll see you very, very soon. You're awesome, and nobody can tell you otherwise.